Boom. See, I got my own.
There you go, man.
I'm creating my own tunes here.
Yep. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
We're back with another YOLO stream. How's everyone doing today? What's today? Wednesday? Yes. One day till my birthday, everybody. Everyone remember that.
Hey, everybody. It's one day to Raúl's birthday. Make sure to mark your calendars. Be sure to put a sticky note on your computer and send him a message, because if you don't, he's going to remind you again tomorrow that it was his birthday. So.
And I will actually, because tomorrow we have another stream. So on my birthday, see that? That's how much I like doing this stuff. I mean, on my birthday.
Yeah, like most adults, we all work on our birthday. What do you want? You want a cookie? You want a Medal of Honor? Come on, buddy. What are we talking about here?
The whole adult thing is, I'm still kind of warming up to it, you know?
Like, you're gonna be like 32. How old are you?
Me? Should I tell you? Like, honestly, are you actually asking my? You can't.
I mean,
I'm 43. I'm gonna be 43.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, look. Listen, we're dudes. You're just old. Okay. There's no. You don't need to hide your birthday. Like,
I know
have your age.
But you know what? Like, after 40. It's just kind of like I just don't care anymore how old I am. Like before that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be 30 years old. Let's let's go all out and let's party. Now I'm like, I'm 43.
I forget. Anytime somebody asks me how old I am, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like low 40s something. I think I'm 43. I'm pretty sure, but I never really know. I always have to ask my wife, is that right? She's like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah, right.
1 year closer to death, I guess.
I know, right? Oh man, we got off to a really weird start, but
yeah, well, that's what happens.
But anyway, so so we have some really good guests today for everyone watching.
Way more awesome people than you and me sitting here, that's for sure.
Way more. Probably have a lot more to talk about than just birthdays.
That's right.
But this is our first time going public with YOLO, so we're gonna try it out, see how it works. I was thinking about maybe doing like one public and then maybe one in the middle of the month with just like Christy and maybe Joey, and we can just talk to our loan officers about like actually doing reels and all the kind of like the nitty gritty of it,
the nuts and bolts, as we like to call it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that's how we do things here. We'll go live first, and then we'll figure out things as we go along.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Try it out while we're live,
Yeah, but you still need to do a theme song, so you got to remember that.
Yeah. I like your beatboxing though. That's just like
that's fantastic. I know.
We get a sample of it and just
yeah, it's really good for everybody. Let's just keep doing that.
Well, cool. All right, so let's not hold our guests any longer. Today we're pretty excited. We have two really awesome loan officers in the company, and we decided to bring them on because they do really awesome content online, and there's been a couple of their reels that they've done that I've literally laughed out loud, and so they're really good. And instead of me introducing them, let's just bring them into the show. All right.
Oh, now we're like the Brady Bunch.
Hello, Eustis family.
Everyone look at each other.
There's a story of a man named Brady.
See, I like it. See,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how we doing?
How are you all doing? I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah. So I have a question as we get started here, but so tell us a little bit about well, you know what? Before I ask my question, why don't you guys tell us who you're with, where you work, what markets you represent, all that kind of fun stuff. Give us the deets first, and then I'll hammer you with some questions.
Do you want to start? I'll go first. Corina Backer. I'm branch manager here at the McAllen office. Represent Finance Home America and Eustis Mortgage. And we're in the Valley. We're in the border of Texas, so our market is a lot of Spanish speaking as well. Blanca, go next.
Yeah, so we're literally right on the border. So my name is Blanca Garcia. I'm known on all social platforms as the mortgage educator. Yes, we're, like we were mentioning, we're here at the border of Mexico and the Valley. Most of you all know McAllen, Texas. We have a lot of Spanish speaking people, and I've been in the industry for about 12 years. I've done all mortgage positions until I became a mortgage lender when I was 25. I'm 35. So 10 years ago?
Oh man, we're all talking about our ages on this.
Yes. I just turned also 35. So
well, I won't talk about my age.
Oh, come on, Corina. You're obviously like 26.
I'm going to be 50 in December.
There.
No way. That
No,
sounds
you look
awesome.
awesome.
Yes.
No,
I'm gonna be
she's
50
like in
in
her 40s. She's
December,
saying.
and so, but I always think God does things for a reason, because I know that if there would have been an Instagram when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have been a loan officer. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a good news. It's a good thing there wasn't a bunch of social media when we were kids.
Yes.
There's been a lot
No,
of
I think
inappropriate.
You
that
got
all
you.
the time. I'm looking at my kids. I'm like, man, if y'all only knew
I
how
know.
That's why we're on
Sometimes-
top of
we
them all
would
the
have been
time.
in.
Yeah, we actually have skills because we learned stuff because we didn't have like all these distractions.
Exactly.
No, yes.
Well, you guys are from one of the cool things when I first got here. I was talking to Blanca actually right away. I don't know how the conversation kind of came up between me and Blanca, but yeah, I'm actually like from that area too originally. So I'm from a town really close called West Local. And so I just thought it was so weird that you guys are from McAllen because I almost rarely ever meet people from that area. So that was actually kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Mid Valley.
From the valley, from the 956.
And Vaya, yeah. Yeah,
So,
my grandma, we live right next to Mexico. So we used to sometimes walk to Mexico to pick up food. That's how
but
close we
just to kind of explain it, we're 200 miles south of San Antonio, 8 miles north of the border, where the bridges. The valley is like a metroplex. So if you put all the little towns together, we're like a Houston.
Mhm.
I saw a meme the other day that said Houston is an hour away from Houston. So that's basically how the valley is. We have a series of a whole bunch of little towns, but
Yeah.
we're the metroplex. McAllen seems to be like the hub.
Yeah.
And so, anybody needs something big, needs to go, the arenas are here, all that stuff are in McAllen. But construction is booming.
Yeah.
Edinburgh, yes.
Our universities have, quadrupled the size since I was, at that age going to university.
Mhm.
We have sports teams now. So it's attracting a lot. And of course, an influx of Border Patrol agents. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes.
And so all of them are looking for homes and they're selling homes. So when we hit the boom, we couldn't even breathe. Like it was
Yeah.
it was one application after another.
Actually, Edinburgh has about 60 subdivisions going in construction right now. So Edinburgh is one of the growing cities right now.
Wow.
Wow,
Edinburgh is like just east of us, like 11 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last time I was there, I didn't even recognize it anymore. I was like,
No.
wow, this is great. Because I don't go there very often anymore because my family, they eventually migrated to Michigan. So then I'm from Michigan and Texas. I was actually born in Michigan. But then I was mainly going to Michigan and then here in Dallas. But yeah, then we went about 3 or 4 years ago and I didn't even recognize that whole area anymore. It's just grown so much.
So tell us more about Michigan.
Michigan?
I'm kidding. What? So
Cold.
So I have a question for you ladies. So, and you kind of led into it a little bit when you were talking there, but rates are high, right? They've gone up and everybody's panicking a little bit and things have slowed down some depending on where you're at. So how is the market treating you all these days down there? I know you have a lot of new builds coming. Good thing and bad thing about new builds is you can get them under contract. Bad thing is they may take 2 years to finish sometimes. So, so how are things humming along for y'all, or what have y'all experienced in your market there?
Business has actually, for me, slowed down a little bit, but this is the time that I'm actually taking on my behalf on doing extra things on social media. For example, today I actually did an online Teams meeting where I went over the 1 to 4 family contract. I actually went through each paragraph with realtors, explaining what each paragraph entails. Of course, I'm not an attorney, like I mentioned it to them, but it's more for educational purposes. And from those 4 that attended, from the 11 registered, I was able to get them their photos, their links, so I can co-brand the apps for them.
Oh, that's good.
So it's the beginning of a new business that I can bring in over.
How'd you set all that up actually? Because I saw that and I think did you use Teams? Like how did you coordinate all this? Like where'd you get the idea from? Like how did all this come about?
I don't know. For some reason, I love technology, and I started playing with the Teams app, and I noticed that there was an option for you to create a link and do registration option. So the nice thing, when you share that link, it gives you the option when you share it for them to put their email, their full name, and their phone number. and that will actually run over to your teams, and you'll see who's registering on the class. So it was very easy. I was using Zoom, but then Zoom has a limit, and then there's a cost, and Teams is completely free. And this class actually cost me $0, and
Nice.
I love anything with $0.
Yes.
Unless it's a commission check, right? That's
Oh
not
yeah,
the
of
one you
course.
like the
Of course.
$0.
I mean, like paying to do
And
things.
just so
Hang
you
out
know
of your
a little
pocket,
bit,
$0.
about Blanca. She has Blanca, I told her I'm gonna be bragging about you the whole time.
Yeah, you're like Blanca's personal cheerleader. I like this.
I
love
am.
cheerleader.
When she came on board, I was doing little things here and there, but when she came on board, she kind of motivated me to do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now.
That's
But Blanca has she was a realtor as well, or she has an inactive real estate license, so that kind of helps her guide a lot of the new realtors and show them what they need to do, and she kind of like just kind of guides
The
them.
basics of the process. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Corina, how are you doing in this changing market? How's it affecting you? What are you switching up a little bit to try to adjust to how things are moving?
You mean not being so spoiled anymore with the phone calls coming in?
Yeah, now we actually have to work a little bit. The phone just doesn't ring on its own. It's a little different.
I went from just waking up and okay, let me go pre-qualify all these applicants to now I'm having to call. No, I'm still a little old school. I still pick up the phone and call a lot of realtors, a lot of people that I've worked with and in the past and want to continue working with. Houston and I, we agree that we still have to get out there physically and get in front of their faces and stuff like that. And and like I was gonna mention to you earlier, I started off with just doing selfie videos in my car, just, hey, if you need a loan, I'm available today. Or if I'm on my way to an open house, I'd say, hey, come visit this open house. And I wouldn't do any editing or music or anything like that. And I we have competition that's doing something like that. And I watch them and I'm like, that's still so impersonal, I'm also come from a banking background. So I love to sit in front of people and have that conversation and get to know them.
Yeah.
So then when TikTok came out and I started noticing more and more people doing videos of themselves, like what they do on an everyday basis, their little personalities, their little characters come out. And I'm still trying and I'm enjoying the TikToks. I like to do the funny stuff because
I love her videos.
That's what I like. I follow the people that are doing funny dances and doing videos and stuff like that. And so I know I have to put up more mortgage content because at the end of the day, I'm not a TikToker or an influencer. I'm still a mortgage person. So every now and then I'll go out there and put something, that I can, but I'm just following in Blanca's lead.
I disagree. You do you. That's what I say. You do what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I would actually disagree with that too. Like I'm actually for those of you who are friends on Facebook, I've been doing like kind of like a little series of videos on personal branding and stuff like that. I'm gonna have a video out hopefully today or by Friday. But and it talks about personal brand and separating your personal brand from your company brand. And a lot of people are doing this right now. And so, like a spoiler for my video, Tim Cook of Apple actually has way more followers than Apple does. And so the reason why is because Tim Cook is able to be Tim Cook out in social media. And he can do whatever he wants, basically.
Nice.
And so basically, you kind of build that brand up. And then obviously everyone knows who Tim Cook is. He's part of Apple. So then they'll eventually funnel into the company branding. And so it's a really good method that we've always, companies they've always used this method. It's a little different now because it's through social media. And so it feels different, but it's actually kind of like older tactics that they've always used. So actually, I like the fact that, you can do those fun reels because really it's just, once people get to know you, they like you as a person, then they're going to want to work with you. Whenever you do show them like, hey, this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Their guard is down because it's like, oh, it's just Corina. Like I know her. She's super funny.
Well, and I think, and we've talked about this before, Raúl, and we've talked about these things, but Corina, both in Blanca too, whenever you're doing social media, especially in the beginning, I think it's a little bit, I think people think I'm going to go make a video or I'm going to go do something. And then someone that I don't know is going to call me and ask me to do a loan or buy a house or whatever the case may be. And my opinion, and I do think this holds water, is just that when you start, especially until you have a brand, whatever that means, but once you become whatever you are, okay, in the beginning, especially, you are just trying to stay in front of the people that you already know, right?
Yes.
So, so Corina, the time that you spend out in the field, let's call it, you know, talking to agents and making phone calls and creating those relationships, the social media aspect of it is nothing more than just something to strengthen that relationship. It's not necessarily that you're going to have 25 strangers see you do a dance on TikTok and are going to call you tomorrow. Maybe one day, you know, when maybe you'll get there, or maybe you already do. I don't know. But I think for the most part, it's more about reminding all the people that already know you, that are already in your sphere, that you're alive and you do mortgages, or, you know, if you're working with agents, that they're selling houses. And ultimately that's the point of it, at least in the beginning, is to continue to stay in front of your sphere, because, you know, you only have so much time in a day to get anything accomplished, and you can't go have 75 lunches in a week because you don't have enough time.
That is absolutely true.
Right. But you can get in front of 75 agents by doing what Blanca did, which is the Zoom thing, or you can do more posts on social media, but it's used as an enhancement to what you're already doing. It doesn't necessarily replace it.
Gotcha.
But, you know, personal brand though too, you know, well, branding, because you asked like what is personal, or what is branding, you know, branding is just how people perceive you. That's all it is. So, and usually when people, because I do a lot of brand strategy, right? So a lot of people are like, hey, Raúl, can you do branding for me? I want to rebrand. I want a new logo. And to be honest, it's really not about the logo. Like branding, like logo is just something that people recognize. That's it. Like, you know, Apple logo means nothing. They don't sell apples, they sell computers, but it's something that's super recognizable. But their branding, the look and feel, that's what people go kind of crazy about. And that's where, you know, you all as loan officers can really hone in on that, because it's a lot better actually, because you're a person and not a product. So if you can become a likable person, right? Like by doing these like TikToks or doing these funny reels or whatever it may be, that's what people perceive of that visual you give them.
Yes.
That's the brand. And so usually I work backwards. I like to help people with their branding first and develop people. I never tell people like, hey, do this. This is what you do. I like to see what people do, kind of sit back and then like amplify who they are and what they do. And then from there, we can work on logo and naming and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
So both of you ladies are what I call TikTok OGs. Okay. So I did a little stalking on both of you on the social medias, because that's the great thing you can do these days. You can check everybody out. So I was looking, and, you know, this is just the ones that I found. Now, Corina, Blanca did beat you by a few months, but you made your first TikTok in October of 2020. So it's not like you just came new to this game. And Blanca, yours was in May of 2020. So y'all were both kind of ahead of the game there. So what made y'all jump into TikTok first and start doing those?
Well, first of all, I think the pandemic was one of the things everybody was using TikTok. And then it all just happened that it was just for fun. And eventually when I started like trying to see how I'm going to brand my own business and myself, then I had to kind of like take off some videos that weren't that professional or entertainment to what I do. So I took them down and made it more private for me, and then just left the ones that is for my business. So I like to have on my page anything that's educate. It's 3 pillars: educate, entertain, and inspire, or testimonials. So those are the things that I'm posting on my social content. I did see that by just posting educational videos of how we calculate income or how we do this, I was getting the views, but I wasn't getting the likes or anything. But when I put something so funny that had nothing to do with the industry, everybody was like sharing and liking. And I'm like, what? So then I started kind of mixing it up. Okay, well, people like funny, so let me give them my funny side. So I'm starting to do the dancing, the TikToks and everything. Yesterday I did one. I was the one where the market is shifting.
Yeah. I had that song in my head all day, by the way, after I saw it.
Back to life.
Yeah.
Back to reality.
I like it.
My favorite, well, there's actually two of my favorite ones from, well, one of them was just Blanca, the other one was both of you. So the first one was a Reading Rainbow. I don't know if you,
Oh, yes.
Blanca, that one was
Outrageous.
hilarious. Like, I loved it. Again, I had that song in my head like the whole day after that. But the one that just like literally made me laugh out loud was the Minions one that both
Oh,
of
yeah.
did.
Oh,
That was
yes.
so
Oh,
funny.
boy.
I just like knowing both of you and then seeing that on there, just like it's just so funny. Like I loved it. It was really cool.
So
Well-
Blanca, let me ask you a question on that, because you said something. You used a term called your 3 pillars. So that means that you've obviously put some thought into this. So tell everybody a little bit about, like, why 3 pillars? Why not 10? What is a pillar? Like, how did you decide? Where did you come up with, or not? Would you come up with that? That's a term people use. But just tell me how you came to those things that you chose to focus your content on.
I don't remember where I saw this, but I'm a person that if I'm working, I have like 3 computers in my desk. Well, 3 screens. And while I'm working, I have to have something running on my side. It's either a YouTube video. I like watching anything like with motivational and marketing strategies and things like that. And when they said that, it kind of like just clicked on me. I'm like, I'm just doing education. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing entertainment. Corina on the other side, she's doing entertainment and educational. So then when I started kind of like throwing out some posts that were kind of funny and people were reacting more to those, then I was like, oh, okay, so this is true. This is working. And another thing, I love to follow other loan officers that are very successful and have high followers from other like city, like California, Florida, because nothing that we are actually putting out there is original.
Yeah.
Even the person that actually went viral on it, it was not even original for them. It just needs to be said again, and eventually it'll stick to someone and they'll become viral. So for me, that was, I think, in one of the podcasts, they were saying, what do you mean where on a book that I said about a title, that book is about that no content is original. We just need to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Our way, in the
for
way,
our audience, yes.
in our brand, in our personality, and the way we explain it to people. Exactly.
Well, it
So
sounds like you two are really pushing each other to both drive,
Yes.
y'all are seeing what the other is doing and then kind of coming up with ideas too, which is great, because that means y'all work as a team together to try to both,
Yes.
come up with new creative things to post. And I think that's good when you have like you're almost like an accountability partner. You got your little workout buddy, but y'all are doing your social media buddy
Yes.
stuff together, right?
No, yes. And another tip, I don't know, do you all, whoever uses the Usurpa app, one of the things that I shared with my team is I created a happy birthday video. So you know how we get the alerts like so and so's birthday is up. Well, I created actually through Canva, which that's the app that actually I use for content planner. And it actually on a Sunday, I work throughout the week and I post them out. And I created the video where I'm actually singing to them like happy birthday to you, and then have a wonderful
Wait, don't stop.
day.
Can you, we're going to record this. I'm going to send this out to my database. I need you to
Yeah.
sing. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, we'll just replay it tomorrow for my birthday.
Yeah, that's
have
right.
you seen?
Oh, yes.
Have you
Oh
seen
yeah,
Blanca's-
Raúl. Yeah, I forgot it's his birthday. Just so you guys
You already
know.
forgot, Mike. Come on.
Reminder. My bad.
No, I won't
Sorry.
forget your birthday no more because my husband's birthday's tomorrow. So for
Oh,
sure.
whoa.
Yes.
Cool.
So I send that out, and it's not just like a text, happy birthday. No, it's like I'm actually sending them a video where I'm singing them. It's just a very no name, just happy birthday and have a wonderful day. On behalf of Finance Home America, have a wonderful day. And then that's it. And then I just get a response. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
it's
I got tricked by one of those one time. One of my-
Well, I know that if we do
Well,
send them
that was like-
emails, because I do notice that they'll
Yes.
reply and say, "Oh, thank you," and I like those emails that go out because sometimes they're like an all lower. They're not even the sentence isn't even like with the proper grammar. I don't know who sends them out, but I'm like, okay, you're welcome. But I like your almost Friday photos. You've been
Oh,
posting
yes.
those on Thursdays. Those are so cute. 'Cause
So I got that idea through
Very
because of
organized.
Instagram. I see my younger cousins, they're like in their 20s, and they post this almost Friday. So it's like a picture of a movie that I guess like from what is it? The ones
Friday the
from the Vegas, the 3 guys or the 4 guys.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
it called?
Hangover.
Hangover. Yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of like some pictures of that, and then it's almost Friday, and they share it on their Instagram, and I'm like, hey, well, I should do the same, but it's now my pictures and I'm doing different things, but it's just saying almost Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm just posting that every Thursday.
And that's a really simple thing. You've kind of automated the process a little bit. You've come up with something you want to do and you regularly post it, which is that makes it that I think the hard thing for some people about the social media stuff is, you know, they're trying to come up with new, fresh stuff all the time. It's like what you guys said earlier, just recycle things, make it regular. Cause the idea is you just need to be out there as frequently as possible.
Right. And I think the key too is like what Blanca's saying, like she sees these ideas that people are already doing. Like if you're, you know, like a lot of people are like, well, what should I do? Well, if you're online and you are digging around and looking at people who are doing these things, there's a lot of ideas out there already going on. So that's the one cool thing I always say. People like, if you want to be good at it, go look at what people are doing. You know, so, I always ask that.
Corina, for you, you know, you started posting earlier on TikTok too, and you do a few more things like you've got some YouTube videos up, you know, but I've noticed you're starting to dabble into the reels, which is where things are kind of moving, you know. Instagram is becoming really heavy on reels. Facebook is starting to use reels a lot, which are all just kind of tagging along with what TikTok was kind of already doing. And now they're kind of adding their version of it to it. But what's it been like for you to kind of, you know, you come from the old school where we used to knock doors and, you know, go to offices and bring cookies. And now you're trying to post videos. What's been a big adjustment for you?
If we're being very honest, when I was in banking and I was doing customer service and we took all these classes and everything, we always had to put on a face. You know, we had to dress the part, look the part, speak the part. You know, the customer was always right. And so you always, I mean, whatever was going on back at home, whatever you thought was funny, whatever you were doing, whether if it was golf or sports or fishing or, you know, just going to the movies, whatever, none of that was ever part of work.
Right.
So that's where it's kind of been hard for me when like I said, just doing the selfie videos, I would panic. I'd redo them over and over and over and make sure my hair was right and I said the right thing. And then transitioning into my story with TikTok, I've actually been on and off of TikTok twice before this one account that you saw. Because the first time it was just like Blanca said, it was during the pandemic and I was going down rabbit holes. I got on the wrong side of TikTok. Let's just say that.
Oh, really? So, well, okay, now I'm interested. What are we talking about? Like what's going on?
This
honestly,
will be the after hours.
No. It's not that bad. You want to know is conspiracy theories. Everything is you want
the algorithm.
Yeah. So I got into the algorithm of all these conspiracy theories and it was just like my husband had to tell me, like, you need to stop because I was
ending.
Corina.
The world is ending
out about
like Corina, we're out of foil.
It was crazy. Alien invasions, everything. So I got off of that. And then I got back on there and I tried to do it just business. And then I have my name on Instagram as the home loan designer. And I thought of that because I'm like, you know, we're always thinking of creative ways to design a loan for one specific client. Because there's always a situation or something that we have to kind of maneuver through to help them, you know, get the requirements and
putting a puzzle together, solving a problem.
Yes, fit into the guidelines. So, you know, I thought of that and I was doing that for a while, but I kind of I forgot about it. I just left it alone. So I created this new account that's on there now. And I just, the things I enjoy are the, you know, the funny stuff and the dances. And I tried to do a dance and I didn't like it. I even deleted it because I'm like, I look silly. So I'm still having a hard time.
That people like to see. They like to see you, you know, just be you and have a good time.
I'm still having a hard time trying to get back out there. But now that I'm getting a little accustomed to it, it's getting easier.
Yeah.
And if I find something silly and funny, I notice that everybody else does as well. So at least I have that going for me, you know?
Well, I think you're struggling with the same thing that a lot of loan officers struggle with, which is, or anybody that's trying to do this kind of stuff is like, what you said earlier, we're used to work, right? You got to be in front of your computer. You got to be taking a phone call. And if you're not, then you're like screwing around, right? You're not really working. And that's a hard thing. I mean, I've had a really hard time with that myself. It's just like, well, there's certainly some loan stuff I need to take care of, right? I got to knock this out. I got to take care of that. But you have to get yourself out of that to realize like, look, making these videos and getting better at it, you're developing a skill, right? You're doing something that you're learning that you're not going to be perfect at right out of the gate. So you're developing this skill. It takes time. It's not something that you're going to fix overnight. It's no different than when Houston spends 50 hours on the golf course, right?
Exactly.
He's working, like he's out there, he's showing realtors, he's doing what he can do. but you know, he didn't perfect his golf game overnight, nor are you going to perfect your social media game overnight. It takes time, but you guys are doing what most people don't do, which is you are trying. You are doing it. You're out there putting stuff in. It's not all going to be perfect. You're not, I mean,
which, you know, that's really what everyone's doing. Everyone's trying, even the people that are going viral, they're just trying things out because there's no written rules, or there's no one thing that can do this. I worked for a company that we were trying to make videos go viral. And the funny thing about it, they would pump a lot of money into these videos, and we would go as far as to buy like old cell phones to try to make them look viral, like these videos that we film. And then some like 8-year-old kid in his room would do some dumb video, and that would go viral. And we put thousands and thousands, and we had all this huge staff, and we're just trying so hard to make these things go viral. And so, I mean, everybody's just trying things out. Everybody's
really, back to just your question, the transition's been hard because I feel like there is a whole new group of realtors and buyers out there. And that's the market you want to hit. And it's been hard for me because I'm trying to learn, like, what is it that entertains them? What is it that they look for? And I know that they look at reviews, because I've had quite a bit of clients that say, well, I found you online and I looked at your reviews.
Yeah.
And I, like Blanca does, she has the 20-year-old relatives. I have my kids, you know, with 27. And then I have my little niece who's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And my sister was telling me that there was this YouTuber, a child, that made I don't know how many millions, because what he was doing was he was doing YouTubes where the toys that he would get for Christmas.
Yeah, we do
He
toy
was just
reviews.
he was putting them together, and then he would do a review on a toy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, those toy companies started sending him money, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
You know, and they're out there talking. You know, my little niece is like, I'm trying to get her to do one. You know, like and share for more. I'm trying to get her to do that for me so I can put her at the end of my.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
But she gets shy on me, but when she's alone, she'll do it. So I'm trying to get her to do that. But
yeah, you got to piggyback on her success. Get yourself out.
Yes, exactly. Can you get your followers to follow your aunt, your tia, please?
That's right.
But you should ask like what they're doing. Like you should, like, if they can take the time and just show you what they're doing in the back end of like YouTube or what's on YouTube, right? Just to see their strategy, see how they do it. And because, you know, my thing is just like, this stuff works for everybody. Like the same way that we would do this in other companies, we do it here. It's all the same. Marketing is marketing like anywhere. You know, it's just what it looks like at the end result is a little different, you know, but the strategy, like everything is the same. The algorithms are the same. It doesn't matter in what industry you're in. So you should ask. That'd be kind of cool to see what they come up, or you can hire them to run your social media.
Corina, do you mix your content up too, like Blanca, or do you feel comfortable doing the dances and the silly stuff more? So that's kind of what you gravitate to, or do you try to mix it in?
That is what I gravitate to, but I do mix it up because I noticed that when I did one TikTok, and it's there, you got to look for it, where I was explaining the loan process, like your application, you're going to need a pay stub, 2 years W-2s. And I noticed, I look at it every now and then. I'm like, man, I was really struggling. I was struggling. You could tell, you could see it. And then you see, you know, that I think I just did a TikTok of, and it's actually right now on my Facebook, where it's like a saying from a movie from Mean Girls. I don't know if you saw it. And I was more comfortable. I was smiling and I was like repeating it. And I'm like, okay, I need to get that energy. I need to get that energy to still put out content, because I still want to let everybody know, hey, I'm a loan officer. I'm here to help you. And you come by and see me. You know, I like to, you know, invite people over, but I'm mixing it up a little bit. And
what are some? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, like, what are some of the reels that you've put out that have gotten? Would you want to share like any of the numbers? Like this reel got like, you know, 2,000.
My very first reel, I was very surprised to how many likes I got. Almost 3,000. I should look it up right now. It was I was just floating in a swimming pool, and my lab, he was swimming around in it. He loves to get in the pool and just swim around. He's a water dog. And I grabbed him by the tail, and he was pulling me on the floaty. That's all I was doing. My husband was recording it. And so all I did was I put music behind it, and I shared it as a reel.
Yeah.
And I got almost 3,000 views. And I
cool.
thought, wow.
Doing those silly ones that don't have anything to do with
Yeah.
mortgages is beneficial because more people see it sometimes and they stay on. Because, you know, unfortunately, good or bad, TikTok pretty much monitors every move that you make on your phone. How long you look at it, if you're holding the phone, if it's down, if you're swiping slowly. Oh yes, they're
I didn't know
very
that.
intrusive. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
They added the feature of who checks your profiles and all that.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. There's a whole lot that they're monitoring. But
that's why it's free.
Yeah, but one of the things about it though is that when you get someone to spend an extra second or two on your video, whatever it is that you're doing, then the next time you make another video, they're going to have a greater likelihood of showing to that person again because they were engaging, even if it's in the smallest degree, they were engaging with your content, right? So when you make those silly videos that get 3,000-5,000 views, whatever it is, and then you come back and do one about the application process, like you were saying a minute ago, there's a better than average chance that they're going to show up in the feed again. So even though you may think, well, that's silly, it's just good. No, it's good. It really enhances the whole picture of the platform for you. So you can use those different posts for different things.
Yeah. And everyone's social media is like Netflix. You know, like Netflix looks different on my account than my daughter's account, as an example. It's based on what she likes and what she's watched already. And so, and they also know Netflix that if you go to watch one documentary, after that documentary, you're going to binge something else. And so it's the same thing with like all these platforms. It's like they want you to build a library of videos. And then when people go on with like the silly dog video, well, then eventually they're going to end up staying on your platform and they're going to start binging like all your other stuff. So once you hit that one piece of content that does really good, then you'll start to see all your smaller ones kind of boost up a little bit because people will go on and look through your stuff. We've all done it. We all creep around and stalk people.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know that we're getting noticed because of this podcast. So I had asked, I just put a simple post a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, hey, you know what? If anybody out there want to do a podcast to market your business? So many people commented that they're interested. I sent them all messages like, let's put you on the calendar. And really, I don't even want to really throw in anything about me. I mean, of course, I'm going to introduce them, but I want them to feel like the podcast is for them.
Yeah.
And that way their followers can see me and maybe, maybe they'll follow me. I have one guy that's going to be coming in hopefully next week. He's running for mayor for Palmhurst, which is another town nearby. And there's elections going on right now. And he says, hey, can I do a podcast? I'm like, absolutely. So I'm hoping he puts it out there. And then I got, you got to see my very first one with the home inspector with the monkey. Did you see that?
I loved it.
There's a story.
I want to have him on here.
After he left, I had to edit it, and I'm not a good editor, which I'm not good at editing. That's one of the things that I haven't learned how to do. But the only way I can edit was through TikTok. So I had to move the video over to TikTok and edit it on purpose because there was a little clip in there. I could have had more of that monkey. I could have had more footage of that monkey. Let's just say
more
that.
Monkey. We need more monkey.
There was more monkey in there. But the things that I was saying, it was hilarious though. Yeah. But the things I was saying, I'm like, there's just no way I can put that out there.
And then Corina called me afterwards and we were talking about it. It's like, no, you totally should have put this.
Yeah, I was say, you'd be surprised what you put out there. I don't know if there's any limits.
Can she say yeah?
Should I say it?
Yeah,
Raúl, do I tell? Okay. So the monkey came in. This is before I had everything on, before we sat down. I went to go say hello, and Jody is the monkey, and I had already met her. So she jumped on my shoulder. Well, I had a big crumble cookie on my desk, and she grabbed it and, she just like stuck it in her mouth and she ate it. So when we were doing the podcast, I was introducing them and I'm like, here's Jody, whatever. And I said, the first thing Jody did.
No.
She ate your cookie?
Yes. That's exactly what I said
for you. You're fine.
So then,
look, anybody that's got a dirty mind out there can just, take it on their own.
So then the two guys that were here, they look like a deer in a headlight. They were like this, and then they were staring at each other.
And Corina was like, "No, I don't."
And I
Hey,
was
that's
talking.
It was
them.
all natural.
That's on
I
them.
was-
They were not. They were thinking that way.
But
I mean,
that
that's
whole
great.
little bit, like it was just like they were staring at each other, and I was just still talking away. And when I replayed it, I'm like, what did I just do? Oh my God. So I went in there and I edited, and it looks really good though. I was from my first editing job, it wasn't too bad.
So, you can use that too, Corina, when you do the podcast, and this is one of the things you can tell your agents when they come in and do them with you or any of those is you can create micro content from that as well. Because what you want to do is take your entire podcast, go through and clip it up into little pieces, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, and then take those clips and repost them because you're using the content again. Because the likelihood that someone's going to sit down, like even right now, what we're doing, are we going to have 100 people sit and watch this for an hour? No, it's not
Yes,
gonna
we will.
happen. Well,
You're
maybe
right.
one day.
Way better, yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is you want to take little pieces of this, and especially with your agents and your partners, because when you get a camera on somebody and they have a microphone, they have headphones, and you're interviewing and asking them questions, they look like an expert on the subject, right? And so it puts them in a light on social media to say, hey, look, this person knows what they're talking about. We're talking to them about home inspections or how to list your home or whatever. And that gives them content that they can then use to put out as well as you. And it highlights both of you. So you get your audience from them and they get their audience from you. So there's a lot of ways to use that. And that's why the podcast format is so beneficial is because it gives you a lot of content that you can use in a lot of different ways.
I have one suggestion too.
I got to learn how to do that. You're going to have to teach me because I haven't, that's the only part that I don't know.
CapCut is a good editing app.
I have one suggestion too. Would be cool is taking those bloopers, and it's called like a cold intro where you start in with like something kind of like funny or like a highlight. It doesn't have to be funny or outrageous like that, but it could be the best part of the show. Just start in with that little clip,
get the hook,
and then
engage.
Start it in, that way, and then you make sure that part is kind of deeper in the video though, so that way it'll give them something to watch, up to that point.
Yeah,
nice.
No, that's good. I'm going to write that down, Raúl.
I wrote that down.
For Raúl today. I'm going to write this down. Where's my pen?
I have so many of those.
Yeah, so it's called a cold intro.
So locally, we're good there because we're the only ones doing this. Blanca has a radio podcast.
I heard that intro, man. That was good.
Oh yeah, well yes, it's the Mortgage Educator. I only have it on Spotify, and that one I need to put it onto the other platforms too. I'm still figuring it out. Everything.
Yeah, girl, good job.
Yeah,
I was thinking about eventually, having a place on our YouTube channel where we can kind of like spotlight all of our loan officers' podcasts. That's nice. I'll definitely keep it in mind, and as I develop that.
Blanca, you brought something up a minute ago too, where you were because Corina said she didn't like. Or the editing, she had to move it into TikTok to edit it because that's not what she does. But you mentioned CapCut, which is a great editing tool that you can have on your phone. It's free and it's cheap, or doesn't cost like $0 out of your pocket. Mm-hmm. So, what other tools do you use for your editing and posting your videos? Like, do you just use what the platform provides, or do you have outside stuff that you use like CapCut?
Oh, it's CapCut and Canva. Right now, those are the ones that I'm using, and StreamYard to do the videos.
Mm-hmm. What does Canva do for you?
Canva, everything, all my content, I prepare myself on a Sunday, throw it out and pre-plan it. I know there was a realtor, right, Corina, that mentioned that I probably spend too much time on social media because they would see so much of my videos without them knowing that everything it's scheduled for me.
Yeah. So does Canva post directly for you? You schedule it out and post? That's great.
Content planner is super awesome.
Canva is putting a lot of designers out of business basically because you can do anything. That's why I tell people all the time, like don't hire a graphic designer.
Yes, I only hired
like Canva does everything for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I only hired a voice actor it's called Fiverr, I think.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And he did my intro and my outro, and it was pretty cool. It was not that expensive at all. Neither.
You went to Fiverr then for that.
How many have you done on the Spotify podcast? Like how did you get it on there? Number one. And then number two is like, how many episodes have you done so far?
I think I'm like 10 episodes right now. I haven't been consistent because I've been doing other videos, but I should whatever I've been recording, I need to just upload them in there because I can extract the audio. So Anchor is the app that actually throws it out to Spotify.
Does it do every like
every Wednesday.
podcast, but does it put it out to Google Podcasts, to iHeartRadio, everybody, or just Spotify?
Right now it's Spotify and Anchor. I'm still trying to figure out how to, because they do put the options to kind of like put it on other platforms.
Did you when you got it with Spotify, is that something that you had to pay for? Did they give it to you for free, or how's that work?
It's for free. Anchor is free, and it throws it out for free.
That's good.
Does it do ads? Is that what is?
It does have the option to add segments if you want it. I think you need to pay for that.
Yeah, another good one is called Buzzsprout. They do it as well. It's probably the same as Anchor, but they do have a free portion of it, but I don't remember how much it is per podcast, but they do a bunch of cool stuff too. Like you can get it on anywhere podcasts.
You have a ghost in the room. What happened?
I know. It was one of the lightings.
Did it just fall? Oh, okay.
It's so sticky with the lights.
Oh, okay. It was a ghost. We'll just say it was a ghost.
Yeah, I like ghost.
That makes for a better video.
way better to put up that way.
Ghost stories.
So are y'all doing stuff with your agents too? Like, are you trying to serve as an example for, because I know that a lot of LOs are using that as a marketing tool for their agents. Hey, look, here's social media. Here's how you do it. You know, are y'all bringing them in on this too?
Yes. So I'm sorry, Blanca. The way I started doing it is open houses. So I said, hey, we're going to have an open house. Let's do an announcement. And so they come in and they get to introduce themselves and they talk about the house. It's just another video you can send to your seller and tell them this is how I'm marketing your home. You know, we're announcing your open house, and they love it. They love the idea of doing it. I've done a couple of TikToks with them. I just recently moved this whole podcast to our Houston calls it our living room because it's the entrance, but you know, I made it really nice and pretty and cozy over here. He says, did you move it to the living room? I moved it to the living room because it was in the back in the conference room.
Yeah.
The lights in there were very
flickering.
They flicker and it's dark and
the background the same.
The reason we had that big Finance Home America, you know, banner back there is because on the back side of that banner is a mirror. Yeah. So that mirror reflects the bathroom, the bathrooms. It's
a really cool thing. The mirror behind you, you're looking at this, like this whole thing. Yes.
Yep. So we had to put something there. So all I had was that banner. But after talking to Raúl, you know, we didn't want to make it too gimmicky. And he says, try to find a better spot in your office where the light is better. And this actually worked really, really well. And I like it a lot.
It looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, I still put the banner back there. I mean, I still kind of put a little bit of a marketing back there. So, but I think the lighting in here's our door has a lot of natural light coming in. So,
Raúl, do you think the background matters a ton with stuff like this, or do you think people notice it? Does it make a big difference? What do you think?
I do because you can.
You and your yellow background with the.
No, I'm working on that. And you guys should have seen this office when I first got in here. There's actually people in here now, like we put the desks together. We have a really cool setup. I just got to work on the decorations. But yeah, no, my home office that I did the other day, our LinkedIn Live, that one I put a lot more time into. But no, I think the background is extremely important because it's like you're kind of like manipulating people into seeing what you want them to see. So like as an example, Mike has a really like high quality studio look. And then, you know, Corina has like the real like laid back, like loungy area, you know what I mean? So I think you can really manipulate people to see what you want them to see. And so, but I think also if you
like my sign, I got a new sign.
Yes.
I like all that.
Yeah, that's super good. I mean, you know, and but
you look
like
like a true what is it?
I just need a turntable.
Yes.
But like if you put like as an example, like those banners that are like have all the logos everywhere, I feel like people are going to see you, and on the browser, you're going to know that you're in their Facebook or in their YouTube. Like you're going to see these elements there. So you don't really have to see them here. I feel like it's just at that point, you're just kind of like plastering things, and people don't really like that. It's kind of a turnoff for people. Do you
think when you're making like reels or videos, like TikToks or whatever, do you think that it's important to change up the location that you're doing it at, not do it the same place all the time?
100%. Yeah, the more you do, I think, you know, because I watch a lot of YouTubers as an example, and they'll do like things on like different different like camera tricks, whatever, right? And some of the ones I really can't stand are the ones when they're always in their room, because it's like, for me, it's like you got to go out there and you got to be active, you know, and it really just comes through on in every part of the video, your network, like on everything. It just kind of it comes through,
Right.
you know.
Very
People
true.
know that they can see that you're, you know, and then also those personality traits, right? We always talk about personal branding and letting people get to know you. Well, that's a good way too, you know, like you can do it in your house, you can go to your job, you can go to your favorite coffee house, you can, you know, and they get to see the environment, you know.
Blanca, do you think you've gotten since you started doing the videos more and more, has it encouraged you to do more because you're getting feedback, and because, you know, everybody has that fear in the beginning, like, oh, what if somebody makes fun of me or doesn't like me or whatever? And it's like, okay, well, I mean, that could happen for sure, but more often than not, you probably get positive feedback more than anything, right? And that kind of encourages you to do it more often, would you say?
Yes, for sure. That's one. And two, because I do like posting content and creating content. So,
Good.
but yes, I do get a lot of people telling me I'm always on their feet. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm
always a
on
good thing.
their faces.
Yes.
So yeah, for me, I really like posting and be consistent. I guess every day I put something out there, whether it's just a post with information, a video, and just, I don't know, making sure that that people are aware. I guess the thing that I really like is to educate the most. Here in my area, there are more Spanish speaking people, so I feel sometimes that they're kind of left out. And I do a lot of Spanish videos, and from on the TikTok and things like that. So I've gotten business from my social platforms. Yes, on Saturday I had an open house. I hadn't done an open house for quite some time. I'm not gonna lie; it's been probably before the pandemic. I did one, and I actually had a customer come, and she's like, told the realtor, I don't want to see the house because it's not in my budget, but I saw Blanca's video and I want to get pre-approved.
Awesome.
So she sat down and I pre-qualified her in 15 minutes. She was like, this other lender was trying to ask me for all this paperwork, and I just asked her the questions like this, and that. And she's like, and I'm like, okay, we're good to go. I feel confident to give you the pre-qualification. You're ready to go. So she was really happy, and I was like, wow, an open house, and I got a pre-qualified
So that
customer.
answers your question in regards is, you know, I've gotten two different feedbacks from two different agents, actually.
Mhm.
One of them said, you know, you're always on Facebook, you're always putting this and that and joking around, but you know that they're saying, okay, what's way too much. And I just thought to myself, well, if I'm not out there doing that, and you're obviously noticing me, you know, somebody else is doing it, you know, out of sight, out of mind, that old type of
No
mentality.
publicity is bad publicity.
Yes.
Right, exactly. So, you know, and then somebody else, same as Blanca, it's like, well, if you wouldn't have put this, I wouldn't have thought of you, because people are thinking of you. Even family, you know, family is like, they watch you from behind the scenes, and then you go to the, you know, the Christmas dinners, or, you know, you get your gathering, and they're all telling you everything that they've seen about you, you know.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so hopefully they're telling their friends and family to come see you for a loan.
Yeah. Well, you're just reminding them on a regular basis, you do
Yes.
loans. That's what you're doing all the
Yes.
time. You know,
And
whether
that's
it's
not, it's
or
not our
not.
full-time job. You know, we're
No.
mortgage lenders. It's not our
Yeah.
full-time job, but if we're not out there, obviously physically, like we mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
we're still in front of their face, because especially the younger kids, they're constantly scrolling now, short
Oh, yeah.
attention span. So that's why you need to start off, you know, like you said, something entertaining, you know, and kind of like, oh, okay, get into their algorithms, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Blanca, if you were going to give somebody, if somebody was starting off and they were like, okay, I really want to make some videos. We always ask this at the end of this kind of stuff is, what is your, you know, what have you learned from starting doing it? Like, what's your tip to say, look, no matter what, you know, make sure you're doing this, or, you know, start here. What would you give as advice to someone that really wants to do it, but hasn't quite got the ball rolling?
Well, first of all, it's never going to be perfect. That's one of the main things. It's never going to be perfect, and until you do it, well, because I know people might be like criticizing your videos or talking about your videos, but hey, I'm doing it.
That's right.
What is it? What are you doing?
Yeah. It's easy to criticize from the cheap seats, right?
Yes. And the thing is that you might not see the likes, but I see the views. I've gone to 3,000, 4,000 views But then you're like, why aren't the likes matching? So
Yeah.
they're watching. Somehow they're watching. And when I meet those that work at another company, they tell me like, "Oh, Blanca, like you're doing great on your social media." And I'm like, you didn't even like my content, like.
Yeah.
But they're watching what you're doing.
I have
Yeah.
a couple of things to say about that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was going to say one thing for sure. I mean, people are just haters in general. Like people that you're going to get the same reaction on people in the comment section, right? So people just have a low, like Gary Vee talks about this all the time. People just have a really low self-esteem. Like if they had enough, if they had a higher self-esteem, and instead of being in the comments when they're on these platforms, they'd actually be making videos and doing content.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll say about that too is you mentioned man, I had a brain freeze. Oh yeah, the comments, the views versus likes. I think one of the reasons why that happens is because a lot of people are nowadays they're very, very scared of commitment. They know once they make that phone call to the salesperson that it's going to be very hard to say no to them at some point. And so a lot of people like to just stand back and then watch and then learn as much as they possibly can until they're actually really ready to make that commitment. So I think that's why the views are always going to be way more than the likes or the sharing or the saves, because that, it takes a lot for someone. And that's why actually Instagram and everybody, they really will rank yourself higher if you get a lot of shares, because that's like, okay, somebody really, really liked your video. Like they're going to share this opposed to just a view. You know what I mean? So views are great. They're really great actually, but these platforms view those other things a lot on a higher rank. So
yeah, but you still got to get people watching. The average humans just scrolling, I mean, that's just what it is. So you get some people that interact, you're big fans that'll want to, support you. And that's why we keep saying, which is a good point, Raúl, on when we do this, is that, for anybody, especially within the company that's putting out content, we have to support each other, right? We have to we have to share, we have to subscribe, we have to get engaged with their content as much as possible, because, high tide raises all boats. So, it's really important when you guys are out there, and you see Blanca or you see Corina, like their videos, share their videos, comment on them, help them out, don't just scroll past it. It's just sometimes, as human beings, we just are in our mode and we're just flipping through and that's it. But Corina, what about you? What do you got to tell any of those folks out there thinking about wanting to do this and maybe a little nervous about it? Even someone that's, over the age of 40 that is a little nervous about doing this kind of stuff. What would you say?
Well, I'll just tell them how I started is, you just mentioned it. I started sharing realtors' videos. So some real estate agents do videos of their homes, or they're doing videos and announcing something they're doing. I started by sharing that a lot. And then I would say, I would put on I guess on my post, if you like this home and you want to get pre-qualified, please call me. I started off very slowly like that, and I was sharing their videos, and then I started doing a little bit at a time. And really just being comfortable with yourself, or, if you said everything you wanted to say, post it and don't look at it. Don't revisit it until like a week later.
Right.
And then you start saying, okay, that wasn't too bad, and just, like you said, just being yourself. And, I look at me now, I tend to stutter. I tend to say, all these things. I think it was
That's normal.
Raúl or somebody told me, nobody really listens to that if you're really, talking about something that's interesting to them, because it's like they feel like they're actually having a conversation with you.
That's right.
And somebody also told me that on TikTok, that if you put music in the background, those and like what I'm doing now, they mute it out for some reason. It kind of fills in those little blanks, that music. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. And I love music. So I put a lot of music that I like on there that makes it entertaining. So
So we're each kind of finding our own way through all this, which I think is great. I think both of you ladies are really serving as an example to everybody else. And, you don't always look at the video that has 20 views or the one that has 10,000. It's just consistency. You just have to do it. You have to get better at it. You have to find your way. And what you were saying, Corina, is just be yourself, be authentic, be whatever you are. I mean, that's when someone calls you to do their mortgage, or you meet an agent for the first time, they're not using you because you're, Finance Home America necessarily, or because you're, somebody they want they want you as the person, right? They like you.
They want to relate.
Yeah, they feel comfortable, they trust you. So the best thing that you can be on social media is you, because if someone doesn't like you, then when they meet you, they're not gonna buy from you anyway. So
people ask me like, hey, what should I wear in my video? Should I wear a cowboy hat? And I'm like, if you wear a cowboy hat when someone goes to see you, then wear a cowboy hat. Don't wear a cowboy hat in your videos, and then people go see you and you're like,
you're wearing a cap.
They're gonna be like, who are you?
Yeah,
so,
that is very true.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
So
Be yourself.
we're almost at an hour here. So do y'all have anything else you'd like to say before we pop off? Raúl needs to make an announcement about what we're doing tomorrow, because we got a bunch of these hitting up here. But anything else before we go that y'all want to share your wisdom with us?
Not really. I think just get started, guys. Just get started. Do it.
Get out there and do it.
Do it.
Get out there and do it. And take advantage of we got this awesome equipment. Blanca put it together within minutes, and the sound is great. The video is great, and take advantage of it. Invite, your community in, invite those inspectors. Houston wants to interview an appraiser. He already said he would do it. Invite the realtors to come talk about their business, about their homes, their listings. I was even thinking about inviting a previous client of mine who had a closing that came to me because he, of a horrible experience he had with a previous lender, and he saved $7,000 coming to me. And it was by word of mouth. Yes, a coworker told him, "Hey, why don't you go see Corina?" And he did. And he still he sends me other of his coworkers or friends. I kind of wanted to invite him because he's a talker.
That'd be nice.
Talker. He would love to do this. You could tell he'd love to do this. So I'm thinking about doing that as well. It's kind of like
I think that's a great idea.
Audio, video of a customer review here in person. Here, down here.
Here's the mic.
Yes.
Well, it's
so
just more practice for you to
kind
get
of
better
an
at it.
idea that I came up with that I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know compliance wise if we can, but does he have to sign something?
You ask for forgivence, not permission. Just do it. Before he's got a problem with it, she'll call you.
Introduce yourself and say that you're allowing yourself to be videotaped.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine.
Well, like one of the things I love about Corina and Blanca is actually even Mike. I mean, you guys are just doing things on your own.
Oh, actually even Mike. Okay.
Actually Mike. I want to be like Mike.
We're going to have one gringo on here. We're going to tell him what's up.
Well, I mean, there's actually a few loan officers that are doing it. And, this is kind of like a good transition to what we're going to talk about tomorrow on LinkedIn Live. You guys are actually kind of learning how to do this stuff and doing it on your own, which is amazing. There are a lot of loan officers that they're not as tech savvy as maybe some of you guys are, but so tomorrow we're actually going to have a guest on our LinkedIn Live, and she is an ex loan officer, and she just really loved the marketing so much that she eventually started her own company, and it's called what is it called? Plug and Play S&M. Sorry. So it's Deborah Bird, and we're going to have her on tomorrow because what she does, she goes and talks to loan officers, having all that knowledge as a loan officer and having all the knowledge of, doing content. And, she puts it all kind of together, and she can help people out also doing their social media. So
nice.
We're going to have her on tomorrow. So it's not necessarily like, you guys have to go out and work with her. It's just to kind of get like another perspective, like not everybody is that tech savvy as like Blanca and Corina and Mike. Yeah.
Well, and also it's an expert that does this every day. And so we all have thoughts and things and how we should work. Yeah. But, the thing about this kind of stuff is we learn stuff every day, right? Yep. We learned about the armor to post your stuff on Spotify today. And then Raúl had the, what did you say? I've already forgotten because I didn't write it down. I got to put my pen next to me.
See, I tell you these things and you just forget.
I know. There was something earlier you told me. Oh, the cut of the, like taking
the cold intro.
Out of it. Cold intro. Yeah. So, you just got to absorb. That's why both of you, and you both mentioned earlier, you follow other loan officers, you follow other people in the industry doing this kind of stuff, because that's where you get ideas. That's how you get better. People have done it before. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just learn how to do it and try to be proficient at it and keep on keeping on, right?
Keep on keeping on. Cool. All right.
Well,
Well,
ladies,
I think, we're
Thank you
we're
for
over.
having us.
Oh man, this has been a lot of fun. Like this, it goes by so fast.
I was so
Yes.
nervous, to be very honest with you. I'm like, what are we going to talk about? What can I say? What can I say and what can I not say? Because, you're going to put this publicly, then I can't.
It's already public.
we were talking about
know.
eating cookies, so I think at this point we're probably good on a lot of things, right?
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Well, you ladies are awesome. Thank you so much for coming to do this with us today and taking an hour out of your time.
Thank you, guys.
This
Thank
was a
you,
blast.
guys.
I can't wait to see y'all at the next sales rally, whenever that may happen.
Yes.
I
Thank
can't
you,
wait to
guys.
see everybody again. It's going to be so awesome. But thank you so much, everybody. That was our cue to go.